Hello, you're watching Love Arcana Vault, and this is your reading. If this found you, when it found you, there may be something tucked inside it for you. Something small, something weirdly specific, something your heart already knew but didn't quite have language for yet. So just take what lands, leave what doesn't, and don't try to squeeze yourself into every sentence. This could be you, or this could be them, so let the roles move around a little. And if something does resonate, you can let me know by liking, subscribing, or just staying here with me for the reading. Also, quick note before we go into the cards, I will never reply to your comments asking you to message me on WhatsApp, Telegram, or anywhere private for a reading. Those are scammers pretending to be the channel. Please ignore, block, or report them. That is not Love Arcana Vault. Okay, let's get into this because the energy is already quite held. Not cold. Exactly. More controlled, like someone has a whole storm folded behind a very calm face. The card we have here is the Emperor. And immediately, I'm getting someone who is trying very hard to stay composed around you. This person may really like you, but they are not showing it in a messy way. They are not coming in with emotional fireworks just yet. They are watching themselves, measuring their words, pulling their feelings back into their chest every time they almost spill out. The Emperor is not usually the person who blurts out, "I've been thinking about you all night." The Emperor is the person who looks normal, acts normal, answers normally, and then privately replays one tiny thing you said 12 times. There is a guardedness here, a need to feel in control. And that's what's interesting, because the feeling underneath does not feel small. So the question I want to sit with is, what is this person feeling? What are they holding back? And what are they waiting for before they finally open up? Because with the Emperor, this person may be waiting until they feel certain that you won't reject them, certain that they won't look foolish, certain that opening this door won't knock the whole connection off balance. They may be someone who likes to approach things with a plan and emotions. Unfortunately for them, do not always behave like obedient little soldiers. Feelings run across the table. Feelings spill ink. Feelings make people brave at inconvenient times. I feel like this person has been trying to read you, not in a creepy way, but in a careful way. They notice your tone. They notice if you respond warmly or if you pull back. They notice the little shifts, the pauses, the way you look at them, or the way you don't. And I do think you may already sense this. You may have felt that there is something unspoken between you, but because they keep presenting this steady, almost unreadable energy, you might question yourself. Like? Am I imagining this? Are they just being polite? Are they interested? Or are they just emotionally built like a locked cabinet? But the Emperor says no. There is something behind the gate. The thing is, this person may believe that timing matters. They may be telling themselves, not yet. Wait for the right moment. Wait until things are clearer. Wait until I know how they feel. But the delay is getting heavy now. It is starting to cost them peace. And I'll clarify this in the next part, because there's more here, especially around why they feel they have to stay so controlled and what kind of moment they're waiting for before they finally say something. So I'm pulling this next energy, and we have Justice here, which is interesting because Justice does not let people float around in vague feelings forever. Justice wants clarity. Justice wants truth, but not necessarily in a dramatic way. It's not the card of someone kicking the door open with a love confession and a marching band behind them. It's more like, okay, what is fair here? What is honest? What has been left unsaid for too long? And that feels very connected to this person's inner world, because I think they are trying to do the right thing. That word feels loud. Right. They want the right moment, the right wording, the right setting, the right version of themselves. They may not want to come towards you if they feel unprepared or if they feel like their emotions could create pressure for you. Now, that does not mean their silence is comfortable. I actually feel the opposite. It feels like every time they hold back, they think they are keeping things balanced, but the balance is starting to feel fake, like they are acting normal. But there is this emotional invoice piling up behind the scenes. Sorry, weird way to put it, but that's what it feels like something is becoming due. Justice can also show someone weighing consequences. So this person may be asking themselves, if I say this, what happens after? Do they pull away? Do they see me differently? Do I ruin the ease between us? Do I make it awkward and I don't feel like they are scared because their feelings are casual? I feel like they are scared because once they say it, they cannot unsay it. That's where it gets specific. This person may have built a whole little court case in their mind. Evidence that you might like them. Evidence that maybe you don't. One warm moment from you gets saved in one folder. One moment where you seemed distracted or unavailable gets saved in another, and they keep reviewing it. Like, okay, what does this mean? Which is funny, because from the outside they may look so composed, they may even seem like they have everything figured out. But internally, I feel there is a lot of weighing, comparing, trying not to make the wrong move. And again, this could be you. You might be the one waiting for the other person to give you a clearer sign before you soften. You might be thinking, I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'm not going to put my heart on the table unless I know it will be handled properly. Fair, very fair. Justice says you are allowed to want emotional honesty, not confusion wrapped in charm. But if this is them, they may be looking for some kind of signal from you. Not chasing, not begging, not over-explaining, just a sign of emotional safety, a little warmth, a moment where they feel like, okay, maybe I can say this and not lose them. And the tricky thing is, I think you may already have given them signs, but they are so focused on not misreading you that they keep raising the standard of proof. It's like, well, yes, they were sweet to me, but maybe they're sweet to everyone. Or, yes, they remembered that detail, but maybe that doesn't mean anything. They're arguing against their own hope. Justice also tells me this person has pride. Not ugly pride, not arrogance exactly, more like they don't want to be emotionally sloppy. They don't want to come across as needy. They might be someone who has learned to stay measured because in the past, being vulnerable cost them something. Maybe they opened up too soon before. Maybe they were misunderstood. Maybe someone made them feel foolish for caring. So now, when they care, they put a suit of armor on it and call it patience. But what's interesting is that patience is starting to reveal them. Their silence has a shape now. Their restraint is becoming noticeable, the way they look and then look away, the way they ask something small but seem to care too much about the answer, the way they hover near emotional honesty, then suddenly become practical again. So yes, they are waiting for the right moment. But justice is saying the right moment may not be as far away as they think, because the longer they delay, the heavier the truth becomes. And in the next energy, I feel like we're going to see that this silence is not staying quiet anymore. It's starting to speak for them. And now we have the Six of Swords coming through, and this makes so much sense after justice, because the Six of Swords is movement. But it's quiet movement. It's not someone sprinting toward you with their heart in their hands. It's more like someone slowly crossing over from one emotional state into another, and they're trying not to make waves while they do it. So this person's silence is not empty. That's the thing. It has been carrying a lot. It has been carrying fear. It has been carrying hope. It has been carrying all the things they have not known how to say without making themselves feel exposed. And I keep getting this feeling of someone trying to move out of their head, but they're not fully out of it yet. The Six of Swords can be that mental transition. Like, I can't keep thinking about this in circles. I have to do something different, but they're still in the boat. You know they haven't arrived on the other side yet. They are in between, not fully silent anymore, but not fully honest yet either. This is where it gets a little specific, because I feel like this person may have tried to open a door with you already, but in a very small way. They may have asked a question that seemed casual, but it wasn't casual to them. They may have checked in on you, reacted to something, made a comment, found a reason to keep the conversation going, and then, the second it started feeling emotionally real, they may have pulled it back into safer territory. Anyway. Or they suddenly become practical, or they make a joke, or they get weirdly formal, and you might have felt that shift. You might have been sitting there thinking, wait, what was that? Were we about to talk about something? Or did I imagine the entire room changing temperature? No, I don't think you imagined it. With the Six of Swords, this person may also be trying to leave behind an old version of themselves, the version that avoids, the version that overthinks until the moment passes, the version that waits for perfect certainty, even though love, or feelings, or whatever this is right now, does not always come with a signed permission slip. And again, This could be you. You may be moving away from chasing clarity from people who only give you hints. You may be thinking, I can sense something. Yes, but I'm not going to drag it out of them. And honestly, that feels important here, because your energy in this reading is not begging someone to be brave. You are not meant to become a detective with a candle and a tiny emotional magnifying glass. You can notice, you can feel, you can stay open, but you do not have to do all the rowing. I also feel like this person watches from the edges. Not necessarily literally watching, although for some of you, yes. They may be looking at your posts, your stories, the little digital breadcrumbs, but emotionally. They watch. They notice what makes you soften. They notice what makes you go quiet. They notice who has access to you and who doesn't. They may remember tiny things you said weeks ago and then bring them up later like it was nothing. But it was not nothing. The delay here is not lack of interest. It feels more like fear of crossing a line they cannot uncross. They may think, if I say this, I can't go back to pretending I'm just being friendly. And that scares them because, right now, they still have access to you in this undefined way. They can be near you without risking the whole structure, but their feelings are making that structure too small now. And the Six of Swords tells me they are closer to moving than they look. The confession may not come as some perfect planned speech. It may come through a strange little opening, an accidental honesty, a message that says more than it was supposed to, or a conversation that starts normal and suddenly turns real. And seeing all three together now, the Emperor, Justice, and the Six of Swords, it does feel like the whole story is this person having to choose honesty over control. That feels like the sentence of the reading, honesty over control. Because the Emperor wants to manage the moment. Justice wants to make sure the truth is clean and fair. And the Six of Swords says, okay. But we still have to move. We cannot just sit here forever thinking about moving. So there is this pressure building where they may realize the perfect moment is not coming in the way they imagined. It may not arrive with the perfect lighting, the perfect words, the perfect calm nervous system. It may arrive because something slips. And I don't mean slips in a bad way. I mean a soft little crack in the wall, a message that is more emotional than usual, a question that feels a little too careful, a compliment that lands differently, a moment where they stay instead of leaving. Or they say, I've been meaning to tell you something, and then maybe they laugh because they're nervous, or they try to make it smaller than it is. I feel like for some of you, this could come through a conversation that begins with something completely ordinary, work, plans, a random check-in, something practical, and then suddenly the tone changes. Suddenly there is a pause. Suddenly they say something that makes you go, wait. There it is. Not necessarily the full confession in one sentence, but enough that the room changes, enough that you know. And that is why I don't feel you need to chase this. I really don't. You do not need to drag the truth out of someone like you're pulling a chair across a wooden floor. No, you can be warm, you can be open, you can be honest in your own energy, but you do not need to over-explain yourself to make them feel safe enough to be real. Because there is a difference between being patient with someone's courage and doing the courage for them. And I think that's important here. This person may be nervous because you feel real to them, not because you are too much, not because you are intimidating in some cartoon villain way. It's more that your presence asks for something honest. They can't really half-step towards you without feeling the contrast. They can't give you crumbs and not notice that you deserve an actual table. So if this person comes in as a little unsure, a little awkward, a little careful, okay, that can be human. But if they come in expecting you to lower your standards just because they are scared, no, that's not the same thing. The right person has to meet you with honesty, maturity, and emotional courage. Even if their voice shakes, even if they have to say, I don't know how to say this properly, that's still movement. That's still truth trying. And I do feel this person is getting closer to that. The waiting is heavy now. The pretending is heavy. The calm face is heavy. Whatever they have been carrying behind the gate, it is starting to press against it. So, to bring this together, yes, I do feel someone likes you deeply, or at least more deeply than they have allowed themselves to show. They have been waiting for the right moment, watching for signs, trying not to disrupt the connection, trying not to embarrass themselves, trying not to lose access to you, but the silence is becoming louder than the confession they're avoiding. And your part is not to force the door open. Your part is to stay in your worth. Let them approach the gate honestly. Let them choose courage. Let them show you that what they feel has enough backbone to become words. I'm going to leave this reading here. If anything in this message resonated with you, you can let me know by liking and subscribing. Thank you for being here with me at Love Arcana Vault, and I'll see you in the next reading.